The number one reason people do karate is to protect themselves. I do it to protect the pretty. You get hit in the face too many times, it's going to be harder to get phone numbers. No, but really, if you get hit in the head and you're knocked out, you can't defend yourself anymore, and that's obviously bad. We already talked about one way we can defend ourselves, and that was with our stance. Making sure we've got a stable stance that we're not going to get knocked over, and also mobile so that I can get out of the way. But we can also use our hands to be able to protect ourselves, and this is where blocking comes into play. So the main point I want to make about blocking is that a lot of people make the mistake of thinking that a block is a shield. Like Captain America, something's coming at him and he's going to put it up in the way to be able to protect himself. In Taekwondo, blocking is more like you're trying to fight an angry dog. You think about, you have this angry dog in front of you and you go to swing at it. Is it going to try to block your slap, or is it going to try to attack your hand? And that's the mindset we have in Taekwondo. Somebody's punching me in the face, there's no reason they should be punching me in the face. My attack, instead of hitting them back in the face, is going to attack their arm, injure their arm, so now they don't want to fight me anymore. They're afraid that they're going to hurt their other arm or maybe even their leg. We start training our blocks from a horse stance. I would never fight somebody directly from this stance facing this direction. Obviously, there's a lot of targets this way that I don't want them to hit. But it does allow me to have equal access to both training my right hand and my left hand. On top of that, by being in my horse stance, if I keep my knees bent, it's going to allow my legs to become stronger. It's not only going to give more strength to my arms, but it's also going to give me more strength later when I get to jumping and kicking. So the first block we're going to start with is the high block. Make sure you're in a good horse stance, your feet are wide, that you're not trying to do the splits. Your knees are bent so that your hips are tucked under you, and remember your arms are pulled back so your hands rest underneath your armpits. You should feel these rubber bands in the front of your shoulders being stretched right now. That's what's going to release your block. So the high block starts from coming over to the shoulder. This is the common denominator with all the blocks. They're all going to start from this position, like I'm trying to say the Pledge of Allegiance. From there, it's going to go to the position of the block. In this case, the high block is shaped like a roof. Notice it's at an angle and it's not flat. If I were to do this from the side, the point I want to make is that the hand is not above me. If it is above me and something's coming down, it's still going to hit me in the head. So I actually want that block to go out in front of me. That's what's not only going to stop the block, but it's also going to make sure I can grab it if I need to. So let's try this all together. You go ahead and get into your horse stance too. Make sure you keep those knees bent, even if your legs get tired. Hands are pulled back. We're going to do 10 of these. We're going to start with the right hand. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice each time I block, my hand comes back before the other hand moves. 5, 6. Keep your knees bent. I know your legs are starting to get tired. 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, back to Chumbi. So as we get into middle block, I want to talk a little bit more about our breath. Breath is life. No breath, no life. Take that any way you want. The key being, if I am using my breath the right way, it's going to tighten my abdomen, which connects the strength of my legs to the strength of my arms, which is going to make my block a lot better if I've got a really big guy trying to kick me or trying to punch me. So if you were paying attention in the video for high block, you could hear that it sounded like I had a leaky tire. Shh, shh, shh. I'm trying to expel the air from my lungs, and I tighten my abdomen and my lungs at the very last second of the block. So as we get in the middle block, we're going to be in the same position. We're going to be in this horse stance. My hand starts from that same position of saying the Pledge of Allegiance. From there, it's now going to press to the side of me. Notice how my hand faces forward. It's like I'm reaching out to knock on a door. If I turn to the side, I want you to notice I'm not bringing the hand all the way to the side. That is what I call the kick me in the tummy block. You notice how exposed I am right here. And when you go to knock on a door, you don't walk up and knock on the door like this. You instead reach out to knock on the door. And that's what you want your middle block to look like. Let's try some of these. So you go ahead and get into your horse stance. We're going to start with the right hand. We're going to do 10 of these. Make sure you keep your knees bent. This is going to make your legs stronger. Ready? 1, from the shoulder, out. 2, from the shoulder, out. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Remember to key eye on your last one. Back to Chumbi. There are 3 different zones that we refer to throughout Taekwondo. You're going to notice this commonality in the hand techniques coming up here in a little bit. We have the high section, which is considered the face, the pretty that we're trying to protect. That's what our high block is for. We also have our middle section, which is our chest and down to our solar plexus. That's where our middle block comes in. That's our middle section. Also protects a little bit of the face. Then we have our lower section, which is actually our abdomen, not our groin and our legs. You're going to learn different. If people are trying to attack the lower part of your body, you're going to use your legs. One thing I want to point out is if I reach my hands down to protect my legs, my head just got closer to my opponent, and now it's easier for them to mess up my pretty. I don't want them to hit me in the pretty. I want to keep that back away from them. So the low block is specifically for protecting the abdomen. Let me show this to you. From the horse stance, that block starts in the same exact position from the point of saying the Pledge of Allegiance. From there, the hand is going to go down in front of you about the level of your belt and near your knee. As I show this to you from the side, I want to point out that the hand's not coming next to me. I could still get hit in the tummy that way. I want to make sure that I keep that hand out in front. Not only is that going to make it easier to block, but it's also going to make it easier to catch a leg, or if I need to, I can punch afterwards. My hand's already closer to my opponent. So try 10 of these with me. Get into your horse stance. We've done a couple of these. Your legs might be tired. Ignore that. You want to make that pain your friend. This is going to make you stronger. Keep your weight down and your knees bent. Hands pulled into a chamber position. Starting from the shoulder, we're going to push down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ki. Good. Back to Chumbi. The last block at white belt is called an inside block. It's basically the opposite of the middle block. In this case, the hand also starts from a slightly different position. Instead of starting across at my shoulder, it starts at the side of my head, almost like I'm talking on the phone. Oh wait, hold on a second, yeah? Okay, yeah. Here, it's for you. That's how your inside block should go, from the next to your ear, and it's going to come across in front of your face. Notice how I'm looking on this side of my arm, not on this side of my arm. If they're punching at me, they still hit me. If I push past my center line, that's going to make sure it knocks it off so it doesn't hit me. Turning from the side, I want you to see that my hand's not coming all the way next to here. Look, my nose is in front of my hand. Instead, just like the high block, I want it in front of me like I've got this invisible wall. Where'd that wall come from? Let's try a couple of these together. Go into your horse stance. Make sure your knees are bent. This is our last one of these. We're going to change up our stance. So from a horse stance, we're going to start next to our ear, and we're going to push across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Kia! Back to Chumbi. Let's explore these 4 basic blocks from a different stance. let's use our walking stance. In this case, we're going to use our left walking stance. I'll talk about why here in a little bit. That's going to put my left foot out in front of me. Remember, I don't want that foot to be too far out in front of me. That's going to make my stance long and I can't move. The feet are just shoulder width apart and like you're just taking a step in the middle of walking. That left knee is going to be bent. The left hand is going to be out in front. If I show you from the side, you'll see the left hand's in front of me. Since my left hand is closer to my opponent, closer to their hands, closer to their feet, this front hand is the one I'm going to reserve to block. It's going to do all my blocking, and I'm looking for an opening on my opponent. As soon as that opening comes into play, that's when my sword comes out. My sword is my power hand. It could even be my power kick off of my back leg. So let's try a couple of these together. Go ahead and get into your left walking stance. That left hand's out in front. We're going to start with the high block. So the hand's going to go to the shoulder. It's going to make that roof above the head. Make sure you keep that hand out in front of you. From there, we're going to go to the inside block. From the ear, we're going to push across the face. From there, we bring the hand to the shoulder. We push back out to a middle block. We're going to circle down from the shoulder to the low block. Bring the hand back up when you're done. Let's try that from the other stance. Switch. Make sure you key-eye when you switch. We're now in that right walking stance. Right foot's out in front. Right hand's out in front. So now it's the right hand doing the blocking. Let's do the high block. Above the head. Inside block from the ear across the body. Middle block from the shoulder out in front. Circle the low block from the shoulder down. Bring the hands back up. Try that again. Switch. High block. Inside block. Outside block. Low block. Switch. High block. From the ear inside. From the shoulder outside. From the shoulder low block. Switch, little faster, high, in, out, low. Switch, high, in, out, low. One more time, a little faster, switch, high, in, out, low. Switch, high, in, out, low. Chumbi. Let's go ahead and switch between our stances and use these blocks. In a fight, it's very important you have light feet. You want to be mobile. That's going to help keep you from getting hit. It's hard to hit a moving target. If you've got lead feet or if you got gum stuck to the bottom of your shoe and you can't move your foot, you're going to have a lot harder time protecting yourself. So the two stances we're going to use, remember our horse stance, our feet are going to be wide, our knees are bent. When we're on a horse stance, we're going to use both hands. So I'm going to alternate between all 8 of the blocks. When I'm done, we're going to end up switching to a walking stance. In that case, I'm going to have one foot forward. Here's my left walking stance. If my left foot's forward, my left hand's forward, so I'm going to train that forward hand to be able to do the blocks. So let's try these with me. Go ahead and get into your horse stance. Make sure your knees are bent. We're going to start with the high block. Remember, that's going to go from the shoulder and then make a roof above my head. Do that with your other hand. From there, we're going to go to our inside block. Start from the ear, press across the body. Other hand from the ear, push across. Then we go to our middle block, which starts at the shoulder. Press it to the side with the hand forward so I can knock on the door. Here comes the other hand. And then the low block, starting from the shoulder, pressing down. Try that on the other hand. Shoulder, pressing down. Back to our horse stance. Then we're going to switch to a walking stance. Go ahead and go to your left walking stance. So now it's this left hand. Remember the pattern. We're going to go for the high block. From the ear, inside. From the shoulder, middle. From the shoulder, low. Switch. So now we're in that right walking stance. That right foot's forward. Let's do that again. A high block from the shoulder. Inside from the ear. Outside from the shoulder, low block from the shoulder. Back to the horse stance. Let's do that a little bit quicker. High block, inside block, outside block, low block. Little faster. High, in, out, low. Switch to your walking stance. High, in, out, low. Try that a little faster. High, in, out, low. Switch your stance. Key up. High, in, out, low. Try it a little faster. High, in, out, low. Go back to your horse stance. Ready? Go. High block, inside block, outside block, low block. Key up. Switch. Right, left walking stance. High, in, out, low. Switch. Right walking stance. High, in, out, low. Switch. Both hands. High, in, out, low. Are you keeping up with me? Switch. Left walking stance. High, in, out, low. Switch. High, in, out, low. Fast as you can. Horse stance. Ready? Go. Left walking stance. Go. Switch. Chumbi.